Okay, so the next unit, as you figured out already, Brett, is stats and variability. Now, stats, I think, is actually something that's very useful. In fact, there's a bit of a movement afoot to try to get high school math away from all that crazy mumbo-jumbo algebra and spend more time teaching statistics. And I happen to be a bit of a believer in that. So you're going to get about 2.5 weeks of statistics, sort of just scratch the surface of some stats. Yeah, it's hard to say statistics, isn't it? Statistics. Yeah, hard to say. So I'm going to do a quick review, some stuff from grade 10, before we sort of get into the real stuff that we need to do. So you should have this handout. Do you have this one? I think you do. Okay. Okay, guys, really, like, give me 25 minutes. Just listen to me. Okay, just relax. Lunch is over. Okay. Recall from applied 20 and 30S the idea of taking a sample to describe a population. For example, 50 students' opinions will likely describe the school's opinions if the 50 are chosen at random. Now, however, if you chose 50 kids to figure out what the school students thought, if you chose those 50 kids from one particular class, like let's say you went down to, I don't know, cosmetology, for example, and you just picked 50 kids out of cosmetology, you would likely not get a very good sample. Cosmetology students tend to be girls. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but if you want a random sample, you probably want to have half and half, right? At least have half and half boys and girls.
Well, then it wouldn't be random if you had half.
Well, you could pick, you're right, but you have to ensure that you randomly selected 25 girls and 25 boys. Okay? And you probably want to ensure that you had some grade 9s, some grade 10s, and so on, right? Okay, so remember the ideas of a mean, median, and modes. I'm just going to review these with you here. For example, a clerk at a men's clothing store keeps a weekly list of the size of pants sold. The following is the list for July 5th to 12th. Calculate the mean, median, and mode for this data. So here's all the data. Okay, we're talking waist size here, right? The mean. How do you find the mean? The mean is the average. It's the one where you add them and then divide. That's what the mean refers to, right? So you'd add these all up, and you get 446, and you divide by 12, and you get an average of 37.17. Okay? Now this funny-looking symbol right here that looks like a U is actually the Greek letter mu. Okay? It's a U with sort of like a long tail on the front of it, kind of thing. Okay? No. It's just a Greek letter. It's the Greek letter M, actually, is what it is. Okay? It's called mu. We use mu when we're talking about average. Okay? You might also refer to it as an X with a bar over top of it.
So would you rather draw mu or the X?
Actually, there are two different. Mu is the population average. You guys know the difference between a population and a sample?
Yeah, no.
What's a sample? What's the difference there, Ron?
Sample, I said no, I don't.
Oh, you said no.
I said yes. A sample is like you pick a certain amount, population like you go through.
Everybody, right? Okay, so if we found, say, the average test mark for the population of the GR, we'd have to get every single kid, and then we would use mu. If we wanted to take 50 kids and found their average, we would use X bar. Okay, you don't have to worry about that too much, but it's something you should maybe know sort of for the future.
So when you're figuring out the mean, you have to use mu equals mu to a.
The mean, yeah.
Now, why didn't we ever do that before?
I don't know.
I don't think I've ever seen that. What is it other than a symbol?
It's just the symbol that refers to the mean.
I've never seen that until now.
Okay.
Can mean work too?
The word mean? Well, it could, but the symbol for mean is mu. You're going to see it when we get to other things as well, so that's why I have to show it to you now. Okay. Now, if you were the owner of this store, would you care that the average pant size was 37.17? Like, would you phone up your supplier and say, I need a whole bunch of 37.17s?
Yeah.
No, it's pretty much useless in this regard, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it's useless.
Because you can't order.
Not everyone's going to be a 37.
Exactly. Not everyone's going to be a 37.17. Okay?
You want to have a sale.
The next, these are all referred to as, by the way, you might want to know this, the mean, median, and mode are all referred to as measures of central tendency. Measures of central tendency. Fancy words for the middle. Measures of central tendency. Where's the center? Where's the middle? Okay, the mean, median, and mode. Measures of central tendency. Where's the middle? Okay, so the second measure of central tendency is what we call the median. Now, if you're driving, say, down Bishop Granite Boulevard in Winnipeg, is there a median?
No, there's a middle.
The median is the thing in between, right? Major roads in Winnipeg have what we call a median. There's that curve down the middle. Okay? So median. So the median means, Brandon, the median means that you have to sort the data into ascending order, in other words, from smallest to biggest, and then you pick the middle one. So the median is arranged from smallest to biggest, and then pick the middle one. What do you do if there's two middle ones? Because in this case, there's 12, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there is no middle one. So what do? You find the mean of the two middle terms. So in other words, in this particular example, there's the 6th one, there's the 7th one. The average of 36 and 36 is 36. The symbol for mean is an X with a little wavy line over top of it.
You have to add both of them and divide them. You say it's obviously.
Well, in that case, you obviously don't have to add them and divide them, right? That's technically how you do it. Yeah, because it's just the two of them, right? Right, the two middle ones. If there was 3, then there would be a middle one. It'd be the one in the middle.
Your table almost confused me.
Yeah. Now the third one is the mode, and the mode is the most common number. Which one occurs the most? In this case, we have 132, we have 2 34s, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 36s, 2 38s, a 40, a 42, and a 44. So the most common one was 36. And the symbol for mode is X with a little hat over top of it. Okay? In this particular situation, if you're the owner of the store, which one of those 3 is the most useful for you? The 36, the mode. We sell them. The size we sell the most out is 36. We need to make sure we order more 36.
So the mode and medians usually pretty similar.
They're all 3 are all usually similar, right? Depending on the data. Yeah, they quite often, I guess, the mode and the median could be the same. It's possible, right? It's possible. Okay. Now you should also have. Do you have this handout as well? You should have that one, okay? This basically tells you how to do those things on the graphing calculator. So now that you all have a graphing calculator with batteries, let's do that. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to show you how to enter all those pant sizes into the graphing calculator. It's basically part A there, entering data into a TI-83 list, okay? So what you're going to do is, the first thing you're going to do is find the list button. And oh, it's been so long here. How do I do this? Sorry, it's stat, right? It's stat and edit. Stat and edit, and you should see L1 and L2. Now, if you happen to have lost your L1, your L2, your L3, or your L4, because occasionally you can do this. Like, let's say I want to clear out L5. Brandon, I need you to watch. You're not. You're watching him. If I happen to delete L5, if I hit delete there, guess what happens? It deletes it. It doesn't clear it. It actually deletes it. You don't want that. You want to clear it. If I have to bring it back from sort of the recycle bin, how do I do that? I go stat, number 5, setup editor, press that, and it reinitializes everything for you. Okay, and when I go, no, it doesn't clear anything. It just brings stuff back. So my L5 has come back. So if I really want to clear L5, what I really need to do is go up there and press clear, not delete.
I'm not seeing a chart like that.
Okay?
Oh, wait,
Did you go stat, edit?
Stat, second stat.
No, just stat. Stat and edit.
I thought you said list.
Yeah, I did say list. They're called the list, but I don't know why.
That's all right.
I don't know what's that. That's the names of the list.
And how do you get them back again?
Stat 5, setup editor.
Mine's not, so you can bring it back.
Okay. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to enter those pant sizes in. So let's just go back to your front page, and enter these into your graphic calculator. Go over to L1 and just type the numbers in. So it's 34, 40, 36, 36, 38, 38, 32, 36, 36, 42, 34, and 44. All right, so I got them typed in there now. So to find the mean and the median, here's what you do. Okay, you've got your list in there. Go second function, quit, back to your home screen. Okay. Go back to your home screen, and then you're going to go stat, pick the second one over, calculate. Now, are we talking about one variable stats or two variable stats? We are talking about one variable stat, so press enter. Now, if you put your data automatically into L1, then the default is L1. If you put it somewhere else, you have to tell it where you put it. If you want to put L1, you can. It's pretty easy. You just go second function L1. Okay? But the default is L1, so.
Second function, how did you do that?
I went second function 1.
Where?
Second function 1.
Thank you.
That L1 represents the list that I just did, right? Because at the top, Rowan, it said, yeah, right? L1. Okay, so this tells me all the different stats that I'm going to have for that list. It tells me that X bar is 37.17. Okay? Then if you got something different, you probably mistyped your data. Okay, you probably mistyped your data.
34, 36, 32, 42. That's right, isn't it? There's a whole bunch more.
Yeah, just let me,
Oh, there's more in the
yeah.
I don't know what, oh, median's 36.
I'm going to tell you what all these different things mean. Okay, so.
How do you get 1 bar stat?
How do you get what?
1 bar stat.
Stat, calculate. So the first one here, this is the mean, the average, 37.17.
Oh, the top.
The top one is the mean.
Okay.
This funny looking one right here looks like sort of a backwards E, is the sum of.
All of them.
Remember it was 446? Right there, right? 446?
And then the sum
So it's the sum of all of them. Now the next one is the sum of x squared. It's that 446 squared. You won't ever need that number. Ignore that one.
Can you, sorry to bug you, but can you go back to your teacher, L1, L2?
Yeah.
I'm not getting anything.
Go stat, edit. Okay, so once again, Brett, the top number is the mean. The second number is the sum of all of them. The third number you can ignore. These two right here are the standard deviations. And we are going to be talking a whole lot about standard deviations. One is the sample standard deviation, that's the S. The funny looking O with the little tail is called sigma, and it's the population standard deviation. Okay, and we'll have more info on them right away. N is equal to 12. That refers to the number of. How many pairs of pants did we have? We had 12. Okay, now down here, these are what we call the quartiles. The quartiles. The quartiles are simply, if you break it into 4 parts, what are the cutoffs? So the smallest value, the minimum is 32. Okay, the smallest value is the 32. The biggest number is the max, which of course is 44. The median is the number in the middle, 36. And then Q1 and Q2 are simply?
How is 36 in the middle of 32 and 44?
Because when you sort them in order, 36 is in the middle.
So wouldn't that be like a pretty
Well, that's true, I guess, but I mean, it sort of depends on what you're doing them. If you're doing more than one little find the median, right? Then yes, you're right.
Yeah, but I mean, you just
If I gave you a bunch of ones with 3 decimals, you'd be there for about an hour putting them in order.
Oh, so we're not taking these numbers and putting them into numerical
order, they're just taking them off that chart.
Yeah.
That's, okay,
Yeah.
I just needed that clear.
Okay. So that's what all those different things mean, if you'll pardon the pun. Okay? So basically, that's what A and B tell you how to do on this sheet here. Okay? A and B right here tell you how to do what I just did. Okay? Now, sometimes we have data that's not arranged like that. Sometimes we have data referred to as a frequency table. So I would like you to, on the back side of the first page, the one that says example 2, I would like you to write frequency table. If you've got a lot of data, you don't want to write out every single pair of pants, right? In this case here, we got 400 people surveyed, how many videos they rented during the last month. Okay? So how many people rented one video?
28.
28. 102 people rented 2, 160 rented 3, and so on. If I asked you to write out the actual data, what numbers would you write out? If I said, what's the data that we're finding the stats on, what numbers would you write out? Hashtag persons. Just give me the numbers.
28, 102, 160, 70, 25, 13, 0.
Okay. If you do that, you've done it wrong. Unfortunately, that's a common mistake, and that's why I asked that question. That is not correct. The actual data is 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. How many times?
160 times.
28 of them. How many 2s?
102.
It would take you a long time to write out all the data, right? You don't want to do that. You draw a frequency table. It's just a simplified, shorter version of all this. If I were, yeah, I guess. If I were to make a frequency table for the pairs of pants, what would it look like? Well, I'd start with 32, 34, 36, 38, 40, 42, and 44. And how many 32s are there? There's 1. How many 34s? 1, 2. Okay? For the pairs of pants, it doesn't make sense to do that. It's more work. Right? But you certainly don't want, on your graphing calculator, you don't want to be typing into L1 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, over and over and over again, do you? You don't want to do that. You want to do it as a frequency table. Okay. Is there a way, Mr. Bennett, that the frequency table can be input to your graphing calculator? We can find out the mean, median, and mode.
No, there's no way.
The answer to that is yes.
No way.
Yes, there is. Okay? So, let's try it. So I'd like you to go back to your graphing calculator, go up to L1 and press clear. On your graphing calculator, go up to L1 and press clear.
L1.
Now, in L1, we're going to type in the number of videos rented. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, I think you know where we're going with this. 28 ones, 102, 160, 70, 25, 13, 0, and 2.
Just a 7 or what? 9?
All the way to 8. That's what the sheet says, right? Okay, so we've now inputted what we call this frequency table. How do I find the stats? Same way as I did before. Stat. Calculate.
RX2.
Is it 2 variable statistics?
Yeah. You think so?
What's the actual statistic? What's the actual data that we're looking at? Number of videos rented. It's just 1.
That's confusing.
They are just 1 variable stats. I know it's confusing, and that's why I make a special point of emphasizing it. You will never, ever in this course put 2 variable stats in. Okay, that's far, far too advanced. Okay, 1 variable stats. They just happen to be arranged in a frequency table. So how then do we tell the calculator that we have to go 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1?
Type it.
You have to say, I've got my one variable stats in L1, comma L2.
It's more than like,
Okay? So you go second function 1, comma second function 2. You have to tell the calculator you want its second function 1 is L1, comma is right above the 7, second function 2 is L2. And then of course you have to press enter. Yeah, one var stats L1, comma L2. You will see right here. Let me just take a screenshot.
yes, I'm still following. So whenever you have two lists, you have to put.
That's right. You have to tell it what two lists that they came from.
Oh, if you corrupt that, nothing happens.
No, you're not going to see anything in the graph. Okay, so what did we get out of that? We know that the average is 3.0275. The average person rented a little over 3 videos. The average number of videos rented was 3.0275.
I could have told you that.
Right? The sum of all the videos, there was 1,211 videos rented. We don't care about the x squared one. We don't know what standard deviation yet means, so we're going to ignore that for the time being.
Oh, no, it's losing.
How many videos were, how many people were surveyed? 400. We have 400 pieces of data.
Could you not just add it all up?
You could.
Or you would?
You could. I mean, it's just the sum of all those, isn't it? Right? How many ones are there? 28 ones. There's 102 twos and so on. The median value was 3. If you put all that 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, the one in the middle, the 200th one, would be the number 3. Now, what is the mode? Is the mode easy to find? Because the calculator doesn't give us the mode. It doesn't say down here mode. The mode is easy. Which one has the most? There's 160 of them. That's the biggest number. There's 163s. That is my mode. That's my mode. That's what they call it, the mode.
Isn't that the most common?
The mode is the most common. Okay? Now,
Oh, okay.
okay, I'll come there in a second. What I'd like you to do, because I find you probably won't ever refer to this, but if you just take a second and write out the steps below to calculate the mean, median, mode, giving a list of data and a frequency distribution, okay? Just put a little note here at the bottom. How do you get to lists? Stat, edit, lists. How do you calculate? Stat, calculate one variable stats. How do you do it with its frequency table? It's L1, L2. Make a little note to yourself right there. Okay? By the way, we're on the second page there where it says C and D. That is the information or the instructions on how to use a frequency table. Okay? In sort of manual mode.
I really don't see the difference between things that we just
No? What is the only difference between a data table and a frequency table?
You're doing no frequency table.
Do I have that diagram? What's the difference between a data table and a frequency table? How are they the same? Well, they certainly show. They show data, right? Like they're just two different ways to describe data. Could we have done a frequency table for the pairs of pants?
Sure.
Sure, right?
What's middle word there?
Show data. They both show data. Frequency tables tend to be used for when there's lots of data or not so much? Lots. Used when lots of data, right? You have they both use one variable stats though, don't they? Right? They both use one variable stats. Data lists use when small number of data. Use when small number of data. They both show data. One uses when there's lots, one when there's not so much. They both use one variable stats. Frequency table, L1, L2. Data list just goes in L1. Is there really anything else that's different or the same about them?
Nope. So
Not really.
It's considered a frequency table when you have two lists.
When you have two columns.
That's
And
the only difference.
that's the only difference, really. And the second column is simply how many of those first column numbers are there. That's all it is. It's how many ones are there. How many twos are there. That's all it is. Okay? It seems complicated. It's not.
I just think about it as many people like holding that thing.
Yeah. Well, just think of it's 28 ones. It's 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. It's just crazy to write that out.
I'm writing down what L2 means in my Venn diagram. What should I put space?
Well, what does L2 represent? It represents the number of data items, I guess, right? The L2 is the number of data items, isn't it? A number of data items. Okay. I'm going to stop talking for a while. Here are some just basic ones here. I just made up a bunch of random numbers. They mean nothing. If you want to try some, just to make sure you know how to do it, okay, I can give you the answer to those. Okay? Many of you I know have not handed in the Matrices project.
I haven't.
So if you haven't done that, the Food Web project, if you haven't handed in the Food Web project, you should get that in. Okay? If there's some of you that want to start writing the Matrices test right now because you didn't do it on Friday, you could do that as well. You will.